Hey everybody, this is Ori from AstroWeb, and I'm going to introduce to you a few simple tools to monitor, to check how fast or how slow your website speed is. So, first of all, having a website that is very, very fast is better for your business, better for your website itself, right? If a website is slow, your customers and your visitors will leave. There's a lot of research by Amazon and Google and all of these companies that show that the slower your website is, the more people leave. The faster it is, the more people convert, the more people buy from you, the more people use your site, the more people return. So, having a fast website is very important. This video is just to showcase a few different tools to show you how to monitor that, how to figure out how fast your website is. So, before we jump into it, I just want to say, in general, different sites and different businesses, they have different potential speeds, right? And in general, to generalize, uh, any website that is faster than that is 5 seconds or less is an okay speed website. Anything that's 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds or less than that is a very fast website. And those are general, right? There's a lot of things related to that. Um, but in general, that's a good thing. So if your website is under 5 seconds, you probably want to improve it. And so I'm going to give you an example. So the first tool, let's say I jump into it. Okay, so I took a site, one of our sites right here. I took this site. It's an informational site. It's a business, and it's a WordPress site, for example, right? So what I want to do first of all is I want to check the speed. So the first tool I'm going to go to is Gtmetrix. Okay, it's a third-party tool, which what you do is you put in the URL you want to test, and you put in the testing location. For example, I'm going to select Dallas, Texas, USA. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to analyze that. But the reason why you need to select a location is it takes time for data to cross around the world to go through the cables. So what you want to do is when you test a website speed, first of all, you want to know where your average user is, and you want to test the most popular places that your users are coming from. Okay, so what I did, for example, this business, this website is mostly US customers, so I selected a US location and I got a test and I got a result, excuse me. So this website, the homepage itself loaded in 2.0 seconds, right? So that's a really fast website, right? It's an informational website, it's optimized, it loads very, very well. So this is one tool you can see, and you can see other data here. For example, aside from it loading for 2 seconds, the whole page was 2.19 megabytes. That includes the HTML, the pictures, the JavaScript, the videos, all of these things. And there were 65 elements that were actually requested in order to build this page. So, for example, there's a picture here, there's a video, there's more pictures here, and there's obviously code related to that. So this is the first testing tool, so you can see that. Now, obviously, you want to test every single page that's important for you. For example, a category page, a content page, a contact page, and of course, a home page. So you can put in any URL, not just the home page in here. Okay, so that's the first testing tool. The second testing tool is the Google Analytics. And so this is a really, really important thing. So Google Analytics, if you installed it correctly, is going to monitor your website visitors. You know, who's visiting, what are they doing, which pages are they visiting, what technology are they using. One of the things it does as well is if you go to behavior and site speed, which is the page I'm on right now, you can see what the actual speed is. So you can see that in the time frame that I selected, for example, about 2 months, I can see that my website speed average is 2.82 seconds, which is still very, very fast. Okay. And what I can do is I can actually go into the report and I can understand the differences between the pages, for example, between the browsers. I can see the difference between the pages and I can see which pages, and this is my average, and which pages are under the average, they're faster than the average, which pages are slower than the average. And I can also change these things and I can look at different data. For example, I can look at the different page speeds per page. For example, my home page loads in about 4.2 seconds on average, and I can start improving them and focusing on these things. This is a really good tool. Um, the third tool I want to do, which is really, really popular, is the Google PageSpeed Insights. This, if I put in my URL, I can just go to PageSpeed Insights and I click on Analyze. What it's going to do is not going to tell me how fast it loads. It's going to give me a score based on best practices that Google has established. And this, a lot of people believe that is helpful for SEO efforts. But in general, if you have a fast website, it is good for SEO also. And so what it does is it actually gives me two tabs based on the results. One is based on the desktop, right? So it gives me a score of 62 out of 100, and the mobile is 24 out of 100. Now, if you remember, the website is extremely fast. So having a low score or a high score doesn't necessarily mean it's good for the user experience. This just means these are based on the rules that Google decided. Now, a lot of people want to get very high scores, but it's not the most important thing, right? Having a fast website that people browse is very important. The good thing about this tool is they separate between desktop and mobile. And so, if you know, most of the visitors online are mobile and increasingly mobile. So, it's good to know the averages between slower connections, faster connections, home, desktops, etc. So this is really important. And this tool will give you a score, but it'll also give you the detail on all the information about the loading of the site, not just the full loading of the website, but also how it loads over time. So for example, it shows you that it takes time to load, that it'll be for a few seconds blank, and then start to show information and eventually load everything. And so what it'll do is it'll give you these opportunities and in order to actually improve your website. So say this part, for example, rendering blocking, these JavaScript and CSS, these slow down the website because the browser wanted to load these things first. Okay, so it'll give you some insights, you can improve it. Google Analytics has the same thing, it has speed suggestions. So if you click on the pages, you'll be able to see suggestions, right? And so let's look at that for a second. Okay, and while it's loading, I'm going to jump into one more thing. Also in Gtmetrix, you can actually see the suggestions here. You can see suggestions what to improve caching, improve images, and you can see how all of the elements, the 65 in this case, load. So first the first HTML loaded, and then step by step all the CSS and images. And you can spot the things that really take a long time, and also see things, for example, like very large images, like 200K. Can you improve that? Can you actually reduce the size of these things, right? So this will help you show the waterfall, right? Step by step, how the browser is downloading all the elements, okay? Let's go to Google Analytics so you can see the pages. And if you click, for example, on one of the pages, you'll basically see the suggestions which are taken from the Google PageSpeed Insights, okay? Just like the page we were here, basically this thing. Okay, other than that, there's one more thing I want to show you, and this is a tool that's within your own browser. So if you're using Chrome, what you can do is you can use the actual Lighthouse app, which is basically an app that gives you some more information. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the page I want to test. Okay, so let's say, for example, I want to click on this page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on an empty space and click on inspect. And again, this is my Chrome browser. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to click here on Lighthouse. If you have an arrow, I'm going to click here on Lighthouse. And I'm going to ask it to check my performance either by mobile or by desktop. I'm going to use mobile in this case. Okay, and I'm going to click on Generate Report. What it's going to do right now is going to check from my specific internet connection, from my browser, from my computer, how fast did it load. And that'll give you another reference into how your website is loading. But again, this is from my internet connection, my browser, any apps and extensions, anything that slows it down might be here. So this is one reference point. Google Analytics one is multiple. That's all of your visitors. And this is a sampling, okay? A sampling of your visitors. The page insight speeds is based on their specific check. So each element has different reference points. And then the Gtmetrix is actually checking from their own servers, for example, this one in Dallas. Okay, so there's a lot of different things. In general, you want to check multiple of them, and then you want to improve your website speed. And analytics is going to be kind of the baseline one. Okay, so let's go back to right here. Let's go back to our check. Let's see if it finished. And what it did is it gave me the score, all right, 13 out of 10 for mobile, and it gives me all this information. I can see all the detail. And this is very similar. I mean, it actually is the same as the PageSpeed Insights, but it's run not from Google servers. It's run from my own machine, from my own browser itself. Hope you enjoyed this video. In future, we will make many videos on how to improve the website speed, not just how to monitor and how to check, We have many others that we're going to do, and I'm going to include every time we make a video, I'm going to include it in the descriptions, and you can know how to do so. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, guys.